you space engineers out there. Commander Kingfish here, and it is time for my weekly update on Space Engineers 2. So last week, Marek did not have a blog, but he has one this week. He was basically on sabbatical last week, and so he kind of covers some of that. There's not a lot in his blog this week, but there's some to share and look at. And I would highly recommend going out to his blog and kind of reading what he was doing. So he's marked this as a personal portion on his blog that he missed last week, and that he spent 3 days staying on a remote sheep farm in Karoo, South Africa. So he had no signal, no electricity, and the nearest neighbor was about 30 kilometers away. So he's got a lot of nice pictures out there and talks about what he did. It allowed him to kind of focus or refocus. You know, I think he's always been very focused, but this is kind of gives him a chance to get away and refresh on everything and be able to have a different perspective when he comes back into it. So I would highly recommend looking at the blog and reading through. He had a paleo day, that sort of thing. So we'll just kind of scroll on down and get to the meat of the matter. Space Engineers 2. The water team is optimizing the simulation. They're comfortable with that it's stable across most of their tests, and that the rendering is looking much better now and more flat. Some of the problems that they were having was making a flat surface on a spherical water on a spherical planet. But they feel that it's working well. And then the next task is to start adding sound effects for the water. And that's going to be quite a bit of substantial work. So when the water falls, you hear the splashing. When you are walking in water, you're hearing splashing, that sort of thing. So they've got to pull all of that together. And that's what they're working on. They've continued to improve on the camera shake for both the character and ship. And so they're feeling that that's feeling pretty good right now. Though, let's see, the ship drill now causes rock debris to fly off when drilling asteroids. So that's good. Their main focus, though, is on Vertical Slice 1.5, which is the modding update. As he says, this is going to be amazing for the modders and players. And I've seen a few of the tools. They are really a lot of great tools. Literally, they should be able to pretty much almost program scenarios and create really nice models to use in the game itself. So it'll be interesting to see what happens for that when it comes out. Vertical Slice 2, they are still focusing on the survival, the planets, and the real gameplay, which is the first stages. They're transitioning from the polishing of the small creative mode details to the bigger picture of the gameplay, turning SE2 into a game about space colonization and exploration, which should be interesting. It's going to have combat and engineering. So for Marek, he feels that that's the most important part of the game itself. So we'll see how that turns out. Animations continue to see incremental improvements, as he noted. The debug gun now has better positioning and distance, etc. They still plan to improve the jump animation and the uphill, downhill, walk, run animation and tool usage. So the first-person camera animations are already very good, about 90% of the target quality. So that's Marek's blog for this last week, May 1st. So we do have some new blocks this week as well. So I'm going to hop over into the game and pick up right there, and we'll kind of look at what the new blocks are so that we can kind of see how they are going to interface with the game itself. So I'll see you over in game. Okay, here we are over in game. And so this week's blog is connectors. We have a connector 1.5 meter, and then we have the 0.5 meter connector. Now, they've got the model in, and they're somewhat functioning in that you can get into the grid with it and that sort of thing, but they don't connect, or at least wise I wasn't able to make them connect. And I'll show you an example of what I've got going on over here. But that's, so we've got connectors now, and so that should help with your build. Some various things that you might be able to do with it. Here's the connector. Here is an adapter, and here's a small connector attached to that, back to back. Some kind of crazy thing like that. So if we come over here and we come up, now I added a connector to the drill ship, and that's where I was trying to connect up, but there's nothing that tells you you're in proximity or it's ready to connect, because I don't think that portion is functional yet. But you can have, with these types of connectors now and with these adapters, again, I don't know what will pass through the small connector. I'm assuming most stuff will pass through there, but we'll find out once they become functional. But you could have some sort of crazy docking station where you can have small ships on each side and then have a large ship come in and dock up here and still all be connected into the same conveyor system. So that might be pretty interesting to work with. So that's the conveyors. There's two of them, the large and the small. And then we also got a couple of more transition blocks. This is, let me see, let me get over to the blocks themselves. Right here. So these are light armor slope transmission. And if you notice, if we come over here, let's see, those match up to last week's blocks. So you start to get the transition downward. And I'm going to guess that next week we might see the final narrow pointed portion block that will continue the transition on down to a straight point. So we've got two more transition blocks. Right. Let's see. Let me bring up two, and then this is again the mirrored portion. So you have the transition block, and then you have the mirrored portion. So two transition blocks and two connectors, large and small. So that's this week's update. So they're coming along. Again, they're still working away. Looking forward to the next vertical slice to be released. Not sure when that's going to be, but I think they're trying hard to get that done here fairly soon. So we'll see when that ends up releasing. And then we have the new blocks. So I think that's about going to wrap it up for this week. Let me get out of here. Nothing over there on the abomination, but it's still there. Matter of fact, that I pulled that out of the bay, out of the abomination. So, all right. Well, let's kind of wrap things up right here. Okay, all you space engineers out there, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up. It really does help out the video, and please subscribe. That will really help out the channel. Okay, engineers, keep your heads low, keep building away, and don't get shot. And with that, Commander Kingfish is out of here, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.